Ho, ho, ho! Hello, girls! Merry Christmas! How are you? I'm so excited. I got a report back from Sprinkles. Sprinkles says that the two of you are being very good and that you've really impressed my elf. And Sprinkles was talking to the other elves here and telling them all how great you are, because some of the other kids aren't behaving as well as you guys, and I really appreciate that. Also, I wanted to point out a couple things. Kirsten, I know that you're trying to improve on your speech, okay? One of the things, I was talking to Kermit the Frog about it, and Kermit the Frog, you heard that right. Kermit the Frog had something he wanted me to show. He wanted me to show you, and maybe your mom and dad can turn it on. Is if you look up Kermit the Frog and Rainbow Connection. There's a song that he sings called Rainbow Connection, and it goes something like this. And if you put it where it's, I can't pronounce it right, but it's Karaoke, to where it shows on the screen the words, and then you can sing with the words. That helped Kermit the Frog with his speech, because he learned how to sing and read at the same time while he was basically speaking, because song is just a different form of speech. So I'm going to show you what I mean here. Let me take this off, and I'll show you on my TV how this looks. See, and then what you do is you sing along with this. So, why are there so many songs about rainbows, and what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that and someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing, and what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell, we know it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep, and have you heard the voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that's calling the young sailors? The voice might be the one on the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Well, that's Kermit's song. And Kermit says that if you learn it while you look on the TV, it will teach you how to read, it'll teach you how to sing, and it'll help you with your speech, because you can be singing in front of other people and learn how to do a good at that, okay? Speech is just another way to do words, but and singing is almost the same. Also, myself, when I was young, I wound up fainting when I was talking to a crowd of people because I had a hard time speaking in front of crowds. So what I did was I learned how to, I don't give speech. What I do is I talk to people. So I'll ask them and interact with them and ask if anybody has any questions, or if you have something you want to say, speak up or raise your hand and we'll talk it over. And then it kind of interacts a little bit, but it's mostly just me speaking. But it's not, I don't think of it as speech. So I kind of trick my mind into that it's not speech, it's just speaking. So that's how I learned how to give speeches in front of a crowd. Because when I went to church one day and I was talking in front of everybody, and I think I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and the Elves had brought me to a church, and I was trying to tell a story, and I wound up getting a little bit excited and wound up fainting because I had too much blood go to my head. And that happens. And what I'm trying to say is different people have different ways to learn. And if you find your way to learn and know what you want to do in your life, don't judge it by other people. You're going to go a lot further in life. I'm going to tell you a story. Do you guys know, do both you girls, Kirsten and Heidi, do both of you know, you have Apple? You ever see the Apple symbol? See the Apple phones? And they have this apple with a bite in it. And a lot of people say that's from Alan Turing. Alan Turing, I don't even know if your mom and dad know who Alan Turing is, but he won the Civil War. I mean, not the Civil War, World War II. He shortened it by 2 years and basically won the war all by himself. Because he went and wasn't doing any work for helping anybody in the war, and he decided he was going to go down and volunteer to do a job breaking codes. And they would have messages that they would get from the enemy, and what they would do is look at one piece of paper and they would try to figure out what it said. And that was what that department did, because he was good at figuring out puzzles. And they thought, well, maybe he can figure out the puzzle of how to figure out what this letters say. But he didn't want to stop there. So he went and got money from the government and told the top person, which was actually in Britain, and the British government gave him a bunch of money to make something that nobody knew what it was. He was making a machine, and back then, the only machines they had were like washing machines. They didn't have computers. Nobody understood what a computer was. But he told them that he can make a machine that thinks. And they asked him, well, computers can't think. And he said, no, they just think differently, just like he did. Because when he was young, he was always getting in trouble at school because he wasn't paying attention and learning the way the teacher wanted him to learn. He was learning in his own way. And nobody expected anything from him. But sometimes the people you expect the very least from, and that you expect nothing to happen from, are the ones that do things that you never can imagine. I think his mother said that if the people that you can't imagine doing anything, sometimes do something nobody can imagine. That's what he was told by his mother. And so what he did was he invented a machine that would tell all the messages at one time in the morning and all day through the day. So if you could ask him where a submarine under the water in the ocean was, he could tell you, could do a map and show you right where it's at. Because he had a computer that he told him everything. So he knew all the answers to the war, and he told the British government everything. And so the British government knew everything that the other countries were doing because he was that smart. But nobody expected him to do anything like that. And that's the short version of the Alan Turing. And he was so smart. And that's why now on your phone, when you get on there and you play games and stuff, the computer's thinking up different ways of playing the other side or playing the things. And it's a different way of thinking, but it's inside the machine. And so I think you girls, when you're trying to do something, you don't have to follow along with other people. And sometimes if you come up with some different way, that's a good thing. I know some people might say, because Sprinkles was telling me that some people say that you have a learning disability. And I told him no, that you just have a different way to learn. And sometimes it's maybe harder for you to learn because they're trying to teach you their way. Which reminds me, when I went to go see the doctor, and I told the doctor that I had a problem in my throat, and he pulled open a book, and he said that he had a medication that I could take, and I take a pill every day, and it was from he told me which country that was from, and he told me the side effects, and it would give me a headache and a stomach ache, and different stuff would go wrong, maybe go wrong. And then he said there's also a lotion I can rub on my arms, and do that I think twice a day, and that would have less side effects and less problems. And then he turned his book to another page, and he said there's a drug in Florida, and you can take the pill after each meal. So you take 3 pills a day, so you do it more often, and it's not as strong, but it has less side effects, and it should take care of the problem, but it might not. Maybe you'll need something stronger. And so he asked me, okay, what do you want to do? And I said, what do you mean, what do I want to do? I said, aren't you going to write a prescription? And he said, no, because you know your body more than he did. He says, any doctor, when you go to a doctor, they're going to write one of those 3 prescriptions, and I know my body better than anybody. So he said, you have to choose, Santa, which one you want. And then he wrote it, because he said most doctors will write you a prescription for what they want you to take, because they get the company making the pills either give them free product or convince them to use their product. And he said he doesn't take anything from anybody. He works for me, not for any pharmaceutical company, any drugs. So he said, you choose what you want, and that's what I'll give you. So I took the one from Florida and took a pill every day for each meal. And I think I did that for 2-3 days, and I got all better. But if he did it his way, maybe he would give me the stronger one and I would get sick. But he said, I know me better than anybody. So when somebody says that you have a learning disability, tell them you just have a different way to learn, okay? So don't listen to them. Or if they don't want to listen, then you just don't listen to them, okay? Because sometimes people just learn different ways. Like, it'll work out in the long run, trust me. Look at so many people that their life changes, and when they get developed and understand what they want to do in life, they do so much better. Anyway, I also wanted to mention, Heidi, I know that you did. I keep looking at my book here, Heidi, and I see that you got your yellow belt, and that took a lot of dedication and hard work on your part. And I wanted to say that is great. A lot of the elves were, yeah, they think it's cool because they don't take any classes here on self-defense, but they like to watch it on TV. They like martial art shows, but now I don't think there's a whole lot of them. All of them are reruns. Anyway, I think I already told you, but I want to mention again, Sprinkle says that you guys are doing very good. He's very impressed, and so is everybody here, which is very good because the elves hate making toys because they make toys all year, and they love making them and giving them away. But the problem is when they make them all, and then Christmas Eve I tell them, no, don't put those in the sled because that kid there wasn't any good. And then they get upset, and they tell me, Santa, we've been working so hard. And it's very upsetting. But luckily, you girls have been doing a good job, and I want to say thank you. Also, I wanted to give you, I wanted to check, see, I got my book here. Santa, Erik, Claus, Naughty and Nice list, and I got a picture on the back. And when I checked my notes, your mom and dad, they were always on the good list. But now they work, your mom's a police officer and your dad works for correctional officers. And to be honest with you, the elves don't like police or correction officers, so they're kind of disappointed. But that's just the way it goes, okay? Somebody's got to be the police officer. When we need the police, it'd be good that we can go to your mom. But for right now, we got a problem at the district attorney's office. And you see, the problem is, one of the reasons we stay in the North Pole and the elves don't want to come to the other countries in the world is because most countries have a warrant out for our arrest. The Chinese really do, because they want to lock us up and throw us in jail. Because copyright infringement, if you don't know what that is, you could ask your mom and dad, they could tell you. But when you design a toy, say you make a paper airplane design for an airplane, and then you tell the government, hey, this is my idea, okay? Say like, I'm gonna comb my hair while I'm talking to you. So say, see my hair at the very end, it turns white, and then when it gets close to my head where it's hot, it turns more brown, because that's what the rabbits do. They turn brown in the summertime, and then in the winter with the cold air, they turn more white. So as it gets colder, it's going to get whiter and whiter, and it'll turn like the fur, this fox fur. This is Arctic fox. Anyway, so say you develop this brush, and you say, look, everybody else has a brush, and the brushes are all made with plastic, and you design this one here, and you say, look, all of it's made with wood, and you say you want to design a wood brush, and you come up with the design, you tell the government, and the government says, yeah, no one else can make that design but you. Well, then if Elf goes and makes that brush, you can go to the district attorney's office and tell the lawyers, and then the lawyers will tell the judge, and the judge will tell the police to come arrest me and the Elves because we made a brush that is your design. So when you get toys, a lot of times they might say on them, made in China, in different countries, but it's really from the Elves because they want to just make it the same as the other as China, because then if they get caught in the evidence, we could say, well, it wasn't made in the North Pole, it was made in China. Okay, so we copy it and we don't put made in the North Pole, because that's just creating evidence for the judge and lawyers. We don't want to create, we want to hide out. So anyway, that's what we'll do, is we'll hide the evidence by stamping it of the countries. And we don't want to get arrested for copyright infringement, because we don't understand how that can even be a law. Because we can understand if we're trying to sell it and make money, but we're not making money. We just make the toys to give them away to kids for free. So we should get an exemption or something. Maybe we get the government in a lot of these countries to change that. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. I don't know what else to tell you girls, except for just that we are very excited about Christmas. And if you could write me a letter or draw me some pictures, I would be very happy to open them up when I'm doing my YouTube channel, and then you can see it on there. Anyway, this is way too long, because I was supposed to spend, Mrs. Claus told me I could spend 2 minutes making a video. Seeing the Elves, they go 1, 2, because they count like this. But if I do that, I tell them, a lot of people think that's a gun, but they always count with their thumb. They'll go 1, 2, 3, and I tell them, you could do that at the North Pole, but don't be doing that somewhere else, because if you have your hand in your pocket and you go like this, they might think you got a gun. Anyway, at the North Pole, the Elves say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I've gone, it's the 17 minutes. I was supposed to spend 2 with you. Anyway, I'm so excited, and I appreciate everything you've done, girls, all year long. And you two stick together, but help each other. But understand, in life, you both are going to be doing different things, and you're both going to have your own way to do things, and don't compete against each other. Just help each other, because all you need is love, okay? All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. All right, you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Bye.